Well, I'm here today. I'm not sure whether to stand or sit. Let me
You
see.
can stand.
Yeah. Okay, so I'd rather stand and feel more comfortable. So as he said, my name is Memory Banda and I am from Malawi. Malawi is one of the poorest countries. And when I was coming here at the Ethiopian airport, this other guy just walked through past me, and then he's like, he went away, and then he came back. He's like, "Are you Ethiopian?" I'm like, "No, I'm Malawian." And then he was like, oh, his face really looked sad this time. He changed his facial expressions. A very, very poor country. so it takes me back to the challenges that young people face in my country, where it is very poor, and the overwhelming majority of these poor people are actually women. And because of that, it has been so hard for girls like me to flourish in such kind of environment where you are raised as girls but not productive. And the community looks at you and undermines your abilities just because you're a girl child. And to make it worse, education has not been a part of us as young girls. As we are growing up, the only thing that comes out is also when you reach a certain age, you are supposed to be married. And then by the end of the day, we have lost a lot of young women through such challenges as child marriages. And child marriage is something that is everywhere. It's not just in developing countries, it's everywhere in the world. And when I saw these challenges that are happening every day to young girls, just like as I thought it is high time that women, we actually fight for what belongs to us. We fight for our rights every day of our lives. The right to education is for everyone. It does not look at your age, gender, race, or nationality. Everyone has the right to education. It is so sad to see developing countries throwing back the majority, the biggest percentage away just like that. For me, I feel like development has to go 50-50. It is possible actually to move towards development in most developing countries if we actually practice the 50-50 balance. If we give a woman a chance and an opportunity, if we give a girl child an opportunity to excel in life, it is possible to move towards gender equality. There wouldn't be such a thing as gender equality if we actually leave the other percentage. If we leave the women behind, if we leave the girls behind, then we have to forget about talking about gender equality. We have to forget about all the SDGs that we have made. We can't actually accomplish those. We can't actually go through them if we leave women and girls behind. From a personal perspective, and coming from a very poor country with very different traditions that actually pull women and girls down, it is actually so sad that child marriage is actually a very big problem. I believe that if we educate girls, we can be able to end child marriages. If we educate girls in our communities, we can actually be far much better in our economies and everything. And the question remains, how did I stand up and started speaking about young people and started speaking on behalf of so many other young girls in my country? Growing up as a little girl, I have actually witnessed so many social injustices happening to women and girls every day. And to make it worse, I could see my friends, my classmates, those people who surrounded me, the people that I was growing up with, being married off as young as 11. And my little sister happened to be one of them. For me, it was a normal thing to see girls getting married. It was normal because this has been the thing in our everyday life. If you have a baby, you're getting married at the age of 11, everyone celebrates because it has been a tradition. When an 11-year-old girl has given birth, we celebrate. It's a gift from God. But is it really a gift from God? When you look at the traditions that are happening every day that oppresses women and girls everywhere in the world, I believe that as we are here, we all have the power to stop it. And then when I realized that, oh, so it has happened to my sister, that's when I realized that child marriage is not just child marriage, it is an abuse, because I saw her life going from one direction to another direction. And then I started gathering myself with so many other young women, young girls who have gone through the same trap. And then just sitting down, listening to their everyday stories, it actually started stimulating me to do more, and it gave me the power to start working with these young girls, hearing more about their experiences, because every day they go through extremely dangerous situations, because by the end of the day, they're facing all the gender-based violence just because they're young, they can't make decisions on their own. If girls are educated, they're empowered. They can make decisions on their own. They become a productive part of a community, and they're aware of all the social injustice that are happening every day. By the end of the day, they can be able to prevent some of the social injustice that are happening, and actually they would be able to stand up and speak on behalf of their fellow young girls. And this is why I founded Foundation for Girls Leadership, to bring powerful women together. I believe that if we are to grow the next generation of leaders, we have to start growing them at such a young age. And it has been so much amazing every day interacting with girls, seeing them move from point to zero, and then realizing that if somebody touches me on my butt, if somebody touches me on my boobs, that's gender-based violence. At the beginning, they'll go like, oh, it's normal. If a guy touches me, it's okay. But then if you interact with them, and then you actually let them know that it is wrong, and then they actually start exercising their rights. And it's so amazing to see young girls exercising their rights. And working through all this, I started connecting myself with different organizations in my country. And then we actually started, I realized, me and my fellow young girls in my country, that we actually have the hugest gap in our constitution. I'm not a lawyer, but I actually moved on and actually met with different policymakers in my country, making up meetings with them so that we discuss so many things that actually affect young girls. And we realized that the Constitution itself actually says 15 is the legal marriage age by then. And then when you look at the Constitution, which is supposed to govern the country, which is the bigger body where people can find refuge in, people can actually find protection in, says 15 is the legal marriage age. We started actually fighting for that, not until up to date, like we have successfully fought, and now in Malawi, 18 is the legal marriage age. We couldn't have done all this work alone without your support. I know so many other organizations in here got involved in all this fight. You helped us, and we spoke out. It is the same with girls everywhere in the world. We can be able to end some of the challenges that the world is facing if we work together. Because one person, a community alone cannot do all this work. And today, girls are able to walk tall in my country because they have a law that backs them up. And this actually has given up like a tremendous output. Now we actually have like, in terms of statistics, it's now like, it has, through this law, we have managed to reduce the marriage rate, like a child marriage rate with a 4%, which is a very small percentage. And now the question still remains, why is it that it's only 4%? And the biggest answer is that law alone cannot protect all the girls. We need more than a law. And this has been the biggest challenge, where we have the laws, we have the policies in place, but then how do we implement these things? How do we implement the laws and the policies that the governments have put in place? This is where now you come in. We need to take this law to the people, publicize it, tell the people that we have this law, let the girls know that there is a law that backs them up, that protects them. Because we still have so many child marriages going on in my country. It has been so hard on this work in terms of changing the attitude is also another biggest thing that as organizations we have to work towards. It's about reconstructing our society, deconstructing everything, and then by the end of the day, infusing our communities with new perspective. The community have to know that women too have the power. Women too have the abilities. Girls too can be anything. For a very long time, it has been so hard for girls to aspire to be in great positions. But then that can be broke through if we actually support all these girls all over the world. And another thing that I have learned is that the world is actually closer than you think. With the technology and everything, by the end of the day, what a girl might experience in Malawi, you can be a part of it. In the morning, if not yesterday, we were actually sharing here, and then we're talking about how can we support the people, and then we are compassion came out as the biggest thing. We are now living in a global community where things that affect Malawi, things that affect all African countries also affect us. Because by the end of the day, everything is connected. And I believe that you will all be a part of this game changer where we are putting the girls at the center of our projects. And at the same time, this is just me, my observation, every time organizations, they're now talking about women and girls empowerment. And then I came across a statement where one said, why is it always women? Why not boys? For me, basically, we as young girls and women, we have gone through so many difficult situations, and we are never represented. All what women and girls want is to be equal, to feel represented in all spheres. And by the end of the day, we just want to participate in every decision that is made about us and our communities. In simple analysis, as women, we just want to be everywhere. We just want a 50-50 opportunity. If girls are given the 50 opportunity percent and boys are given a 50% opportunity, then we can all work together and say that it is possible, and it is very much possible to actually reach out and meet the global goals, and by the end of the day, the world can celebrate that we did it. So men alone can't do it. And women alone, on the other hand, can't do it. This is why this whole work that we have been talking about from the past days needs a collaboration from every angle of everything that we do. Thank you.